Welcome back. Still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidiri, on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. And in the bit, we'll be joined by someone whose journey of faith, resilience, and activism has captured hearts of many. Jody McIntyre is a Qur'an teacher, writer, traveler, and a former parliamentary candidate for Birmingham Yardley in the 2024 UK general election. But what really sets him apart even further is his major upcoming challenge. In just under a few hundred days, Jody will be embarking on an extraordinary journey, sailing from the UK to Saudi Arabia for Hajj, in hopes to raise more than 100,000 euros for orphans in Palestine, Lebanon, and around the world. This voyage combines spiritual purpose with a powerful humanitarian mission, and it reflects Jody's unwavering commitment to justice and equality. Jody, welcome to Salam Media. Thank you so much for joining us. Really a pleasure having you on our show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
I think first and foremost, sailing from the UK to for Hajj to Saudi Arabia. What's the inspiration behind this? Where did it all start for you? Are you someone that sails? Are you someone that's adventurous and is looking on to taking challenges like this one that you've set yourself up for?
Well, I must say it's something that I was invited to join by a friend of mine here called Abdul Wahid, who organised the journey. And I met this brother in 2017 when he was organising a similar challenge called the Hajj Ride, where they cycled to Hajj from the UK. And I met him at that time. I was also doing a cycle ride from London to Scotland, and he said that it was too late for me to join him, but maybe in the future we could do a journey together. So when they invited me, I was very excited. I felt very privileged to join this amazing mission. I believe it could be the first ever time in history that people have sailed from the UK to Hajj, and I believe that there's a dual purpose in this mission. First of all, of course, we want to raise as much money as possible for the people who are suffering in Palestine, in Lebanon, particularly the children, the orphans who have no one else left to look after them, and who have become the responsibility of people of conscience around the world. And secondly, to reinforce in people's minds the obligation and the spiritual obligation to perform Hajj if we are financially and physically able to do so. So for me, really, it's a great honor and privilege to be invited to join this sailing trip. I haven't sailed before. It's something that I'm training to do now, actually. I'm doing my qualifications right now, and in a couple of weeks, we will be doing the practical element of the qualification, which involves five days and 5 nights at sea. And then, of course, the journey itself will be 6 weeks at sea, at least 6 weeks at sea. So I can say from our side, Alhamdulillah, we're sacrificing our time, we're sacrificing our effort, and I would ask everyone else to sacrifice their money if they're able to do so, to go to hajsail.com, to follow the journey on social media by going to Hajj Sail, because as I said, this is a first of its kind. I think this is an amazing trip, and I hope that it inspires many others to get involved.
No, definitely. I think this is a first of its kind, and mashallah to you, Jody. For embarking on this very, very, I think, important trip. But I think what stands out for me is the cause itself. Trying to raise £100,000, which is your target for orphans in Palestine and Lebanon, and other parts of the world. Could you maybe just share with us why you chose this particular cause? Is there, a specific moment or something that you've seen that just sparked something within you, and you decided, I'm not gonna just sit and be on my phone and not do anything about it. I can contribute in some way or form, and you decided to set sail and embark on this journey.
Well, I actually have family members who are in Beirut right now, and it's very worrying and very painful for me on a personal level to see the criminal acts that the rogue state, as I like to call them, are carrying out now in Lebanon and have been carrying out in Gaza for the last year, and also really for the last 75 years. I've lived in Gaza myself. I stayed in Gaza around 15 years ago when I was working as a journalist, and I stayed in the West Bank in Jerusalem as well, in Palestine. And, we all feel that sense at time, that sense of despair and hopelessness. But really, we have to move beyond that. We have to take any action we can and do anything we can to stand up for our brothers and sisters who are suffering. Now, sometimes it feels as if there's very little we can do, but I believe that this is something concrete we can do to provide aid, particularly to orphans, the most oppressed, the most vulnerable. You could say it's the very, very least we can do, the very least. So I don't really see it as a service for myself so much as the bare minimum. So really, I'd feel somewhat embarrassed or somewhat ashamed if I wasn't doing at least what I can, inshallah.
I mean, and this is undoubtedly going to be a very, very challenging journey. Both physically and spiritually. What are some of the preparations you're undertaking? When it comes to the sailing aspect, I heard you say, you're getting your sailing license. You've never sailed before, but just generally, how are you preparing? Yourself for it, spending so many days and nights at sea, and also just mentally and spiritually. Also, another very, very important aspect is you're going through this journey, but you're going for Hajj, which is something very, very spiritually divine and spiritually significant. Just both events, very significant, very demanding, both physically and psychologically, and also spiritually. How are you preparing for all of this? Doesn't it get overwhelming sometimes?
Yes, you could say it is overwhelming in a sense, but I guess that because we haven't embarked on the trip yet, maybe it will become more real once we're actually on the boat sailing. In terms of the preparation for the sailing itself, it is a very rigorous training that we're going through, to be honest. So I'm currently studying for my they call it a day skipper qualification. So there's a lot of theory to learn. You have to know how to read the maps. You have to know how to identify your location in terms of danger or difficulty. And you're very much encouraged to rely on paper maps rather than electronic systems, which are seen as less reliable in this field. In terms of the Hajj itself, as I said, an important element of this is to re-emphasize to people the priority and urgency of Hajj, because I think that although every Muslim in the world knows that Hajj is a pillar of our religion, sometimes we don't give it the priority it deserves. What I mean by that is that sometimes we make too many excuses for ourselves, or we say, this is something I can do later in life. But the reality is, we should make this a number one priority. And actually, if there's any way we can perform Hajj, then it becomes an obligation upon us. So I think it is important to say, look, I'm a person with a physical disability. If I'm able to perform Hajj, not only that, but in this difficult way, if you like, then I'm sure many others are able to do so as well. And really, it's a way of, I suppose, bringing attention to this important cause, the suffering of innocent people, innocent civilians. It's not only Palestine and Lebanon, we are raising money for children in other countries as well. But the reason I've emphasized them in this interview is because of the obvious hardship and suffering they are enduring at the moment at the hands of a criminal, rogue, and out of control state.
No, definitely. Jody, unfortunately, we have run out of time. But just lastly, before I let you go, two things. This journey will likely, inspire many, many people. What message would you like to send to them? Those who might be hesitant to undertake such a difficult or unconventional path in pursuit of their faith, their values, and also trying to bring awareness, to some of what's happening all across the world. And also for those that would like to follow your journey, those that would like to contribute, how do they get hold of you?
My message would be that putting yourself out of your comfort zone can certainly make you grow as a person. And I think it's important to live this life with a purpose, inshallah. And especially if you're able to serve others, really. Now, to anyone who wants to donate, I hope a lot of people are going to donate, inshallah. You simply go to hajsale.com. Hajj, Hajj, sale.com. If you want to follow the journey, you can follow Hajj Sale on Instagram. You can follow myself on Twitter, Jody McIntyre. And yes, those are the easiest ways to keep up with the journey. I'll be posting updates, and there'll be a lot of updates on the Hajj Sale Instagram as well.
All right. No, wonderful, wonderful stuff there, Jody. And I will definitely be following you here on Salam Media. And I'm pretty sure as you're about to set sail, we'll make contact with you just to check how far are you with your preparations. And I think when you land also in Saudi Arabia, we'll be making contact with you just to reflect on the journey and how it has been. But we're going to leave it here for now. Wishing you all the best. And really, really proud to see a young person like you, going out of their way to raise awareness of some of the injustices that are happening to the most vulnerable in our society, and not only sitting on social media, tweeting, and just crying and moping, but actually going out there and doing something within your abilities. So really, really kudos to you, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much, my brother. And we should do another interview whilst we're on the journey, inshallah, whilst we're on the sea. And I hope to visit you in Johannesburg. inshallah.
That that would be wonderful. We'll be happy to have you, but we'll chat. I have a feeling you and I will be talking a lot of times as you embark on this very, very important journey.
Anytime, brother, anytime.
Assalamu alaikum, Jody. We'll
Wa
talk in a bit.
alaikum salam.
There we
Alaikum
go. Jody McIntyre, really, really inspiring stuff. You'll be taking on a journey that I think will evoke, I think, some of the historical journeys of the pilgrims, eh? How Hajj was performed by pilgrims back in the day before, the modern forms of traveling, people walking, going by sea. And yeah, there's so many important aspects and little nuggets of wisdom in his journey. He said to set sail from the UK to Saudi Arabia for Hajj, and this is in hopes to raise around £100,000 for kids, orphans, particularly in Palestine and also in Lebanon, the most vulnerable, I think, in our society. And Jody is, going out there doing something about it. And I think this is, something very, very important that all of us can adopt in our own lives in whatever way that you can, in whatever, little, capabilities and abilities that you have, contribute to the cause, do something about it. If it means going out to the streets, to the protests, go out there. That's what you can do at that given moment. If you are like Jody, and you can set sail, across the world, and pass through continents and international choppy waters, and sail, for Hajj, with the banner of raising funds for those, orphans in Palestine and Lebanon, and as he mentioned, all across the world, who are, affected, and are the most vulnerable in our societies, then do it. Hey, there's nothing stopping you. Going to take a quick break. News and views continues after this short break.